Okay, let's get started digging through the individual widgets in our SEO widget pack. So I've downloaded the widget and I'm just going to double click the mulib file to import into Muse. There you go. So now in our library panel, we have the SEO widget pack, and within there is 5 widgets. There's business listings, Google Tag Manager, rich results article, rich results product, and social meta tags. So the first one that probably most users are going to take advantage of is the business listings widget. So I'm going to drag this out onto the master page of your site. You want to make sure this is on the master. And this widget is going to give Google some good background information about your business. Let me close this so we have more room to work. So if I open up the panel, you'll see first of all, it says, what type of business is this? And there's a drop down. Now these are all pre-specified by Google and Schema. So we need to select something that is most appropriate for our business. If you can't find the exact thing, that's okay. In this case, I'm just going to set it as corporation. And whatever you select in the business type drop down here may affect some of the options you have throughout the rest of the widget. So let's get started on the identity tab. So if I open up this drop down, let me move this up so we have a little bit more room. If I open the identity drop down, it says, what is the name of your business and a description. So of course, enter the name of your business in here and a small description. You don't need anything too long, just a couple of lines. Next, we have an image and a logo. Now there's a link that we're going to list on the landing page for our SEO widgets, and it's this guide to Google's search features. So it talks a little bit about what you're trying to achieve here, and there's things called rich results. They allow Google to understand your content and display kind of a better quality result with more information in it. On this left side menu, there's a drop down that says feature guides, and if I click on that, there is an option that says logo. So if I click on logo, it says specify the image Google search should use for your organization's logo. That's what this option for logo in the widget is right here. So if you're thinking about what kind of size and specs you want on this logo, this is the perfect guide to tell you. And if I scroll down the page a little bit, you'll see that it says for the logo, you want to make sure it's 112 pixels by 112 pixels at minimum. The URL is crawlable, which is no problem, and it must be in the following formats. So when you're working through these SEO widgets, it's good to occasionally reference back to this Google developers documentation. Let's move on in the widget and see what else we have. So we've added in our logo, and you'll notice at the bottom here we have a price range. So if you're selling a product or a service, you may want to include a price range, say $100 to $500. Now in this case, it is grayed out, and the reason for that is because the business type here does not allow for a price range to be included in your structured data. If I were to click the drop down and bring up, say, dry cleaning and laundry, you'll notice now I can enable the price range and set a price range. And the goal with this, by enabling a price range, is for your search result in Google to display a price range. Okay, next up, beyond the identity tab, is a location tab. So this is very simple, just where you're going to be adding in your location information. So we have street address, city, state or province, and of course we have postal code here, which would be zip code if you're based in the US. And this can potentially display a map on your search result listing. You could also enable the map, and you can provide a location or a URL to a Google map. Now again, this may not be available on every single option. If I change this back to corporation, then you'll see enabling a map is not available. And it's just part of the structured data setup that is defined by Schema and Google. Next up, we have contact info, so simple phone number and your email address. We have an option for hours. Let me go back to dry cleaning and laundry, and then I can show you the hours. So in the dropdown, we have a couple of different ranges. So we have enable hours, and we could set, say, 3 different ranges. We've set this up this way because some businesses may have different hours Monday to Friday, and then Saturday different and Sunday different. So having up to 4 ranges gives you that flexibility to have all these different ranges. I'll close that menu, and the last thing we have is social profiles. So if I bring up that drop down, it says enable social profiles. We can set how many we want, and then we just need to put the full URL of the social profile inside. Let me jump over to the Google documentation again. And on the left side, it says social profile. So let's click on that. So it says use markup on the official website, on your official website to add your social profile information. So you may return results with your social profiles right in, which is really nice. So below that, it kind of says what profiles are accepted. So we've got all the major big ones and how to include them. We just want to include the full URL. So that's it for the business listings widget. Again, at the bottom here, there's a link to that structured data testing tool if you want to click that and test your site. One thing I should mention about the testing tool is that you need this to be a live website for the testing tool to work. A temporary Business Catalyst site will not work. Business Catalyst restricts a lot of things on the temporary sites because they do not want you using it as your final hosting location. So it actually blocks search engines from working through this step. So just be sure that before you run the testing tool, you've published up to an actual server and that it's accessible by Google. Thanks for watching, and in the next video, we will run through Google Tag Manager.